about that.
Well, praise the Lord, everybody. Welcome to On Point, the number one Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America. We're coming to you this morning from our office sets.
Yes.
Not our usual set that you're used to seeing, but we're glad you're joining us. Won't you please like and subscribe and share? Share with as many people as possible to join another stimulating conversation. We look forward to you calling us this morning. Our phone number is, we don't have a phone number this morning. You're going to have to write us online, right?
Yep.
You have to write us on the site that you're watching us this morning, Facebook, and we will respond, of course, to every post that you send us. We're looking forward to having a conversation around those things that are important to you. On Point is all about discussing, of course, faith, politics, religion, events, culture, all those things that you are impacted by, but always from a biblical, a kingdom perspective. So we look forward to another stimulating conversation. Our world famous co-host, Pastor Nicholas Smith, is with us once again, and we're looking forward to responding to your conversation as well as you responding to ours. So please log in for us and share for us and make sure others know that we're on. It always feels a little more intimate when we do it this way, Pastor Nick. It feels, it feels even more relational than when we're in our big set and the screens behind us and we got the headsets on and look like we're getting ready to take off on a plane or something. But I think it's going to be another good conversation. So join us, please, here on Point this morning. Look forward to hearing from our listeners, our callers to this morning, our lookers from all over the country. And perhaps we'll get some international people to chime in because we are online today. I look forward to hearing from our people over in Europe and Africa and the islands and everything. So, and Hawaii too. We haven't heard from Hawaii in quite a while. So we look forward to you talking to us today. So what's up, Pastor Nick? I see Hakeem Jeffries. He got the post, or is he running for the post?
No, they elected him. He's in.
Okay, he was elected, huh?
Yeah, they elected him. He's taking over for Miss Pelosi, and I'm sure they're going to be helping him through this process.
So his title is officially what?
He is the caucus leader for the Democrats in the House.
Okay, now that does not make him the third person in line behind the president, vice president, does it?
No, because the Republicans have the House now. So whoever is the Speaker of the House on the Republican side will be.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah, but if Democrats take over, he will.
He's the caucus leader.
Yep.
But the Speaker of the House will probably be whoever they elect.
Will be whoever the Republican leader is for the House. Yeah.
Did we know who that is yet?
I think they're looking for, what's this guy's name?
I know McCarthy wants it, right?
I think that McCarthy was the one they're trying to get in. Yeah, so Nancy Pelosi is still right now the Speaker of the House, but once January kicks in, he'll take over. And then they're trying to look. GOP wants McCarthy to take over, but we'll see what happens.
Is that their majority, or is that just one of their possibilities?
Well, that's one of the possibilities that a lot of people are talking about.
Okay.
But they still have to vote him in, though. But he's been campaigning for it. He's been the one that everybody's been talking about. But again, they have to vote him in to see if he's going to be the Speaker of the House.
Okay.
But
that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. But Jeffries is already committing, the next election, they got to take the House back so they can be, he'll be Speaker of the House if they win in 2 years, but we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Is Kanye West just trying to get in the news or something?
Okay.
Now he says he likes Hitler.
Kanye, he goes through his manic states.
Okay.
And I don't want to blame all of his craziness on his mental health, but he goes through these phases of his mania, somewhat normal.
Okay.
Maybe again, but I don't know if divorce and everything. He just knew how to deal with it, so he's acting out. But my problem is, let's talk to us real quick.
Okay.
Talk about Americans. Kanye's been saying some wild stuff for years, but yet people still support his music. You notice when he comes against the Jews, their folks step up and say, "No, you're not going to do this."
Right.
Our folk will be like, "Oh, he's just a little off," and still buy his music, buy his clothes, and still support him.
Yeah.
And then he'll wear a White Lives Matter T-shirt and say white men are the most oppressed people in this country. And it's like, Kanye should have been one of those people that we should just let go and let him be himself for years. Just,
I hate to say it, but I think that I don't hate to say it. I think the reality is, man, that we tend to lean towards drama.
Yeah.
We like to be spectators at an emotional circus.
Mm-hmm.
And the longer the emotional circus lasts, the longer we'll stay in our seats and watch and support it. I don't know what that is. I think I do know what that is about us. I think we don't know how to criticize and not be disunified.
Mm-hmm.
You have to say something, but we don't even say anything.
Yeah.
And those that do speak a relevant truth to a situation like this are often castigated by our own people. So it's almost like you're not supposed to say something's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And it goes to show, somebody said it like this: the greater the talent, the greater the tolerance.
Yeah.
So because he puts out great music, for the people that like his music,
Yeah.
They're willing to tolerate all of this stuff about him. But again, it goes to show you, highly gifted people will tolerate crazy behavior sometimes because of the consumer side of people.
Yeah. And I just think it's not a good testimony for us.
No.
I think we need to be able to say, like, I don't know what the controversy is, but I understand Minister Farrakhan has been supportive of him and who's the basketball player?
Kyrie.
Mm-hmm. I have not heard what he said, so I can't really speak with any relevance or any accuracy to it. But the overall theme seems to be that he is in support of them. Now, I'm not sure in what way.
Yeah.
Because Mr. Farrakhan is an extremely intelligent man, very experienced, very articulate, and very insightful. So I'd be curious to know how he's supporting them.
Yeah. I'll look it up and see. I know Kyrie is into the whole Hebrew Israelite thing.
Is he?
Yeah. So that's where all his stuff is coming from, where, the blacks are the original Jews, and, in that video where it talked about how the Holocaust wasn't real. And so that's where he's coming from.
Okay. And it's really weird is that biblically, as I can recall, two of the tribes of Israel, just like today, are dark-complected people. I believe it was Joseph's sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, which were Egyptian, which means they were African people of color, and they were two of the 12 tribes of Israel. So I think the misinterpretation is not are they blacks, the original Jews, but blacks were a part of the birth of that nation. And I think when we're describing that, we need to be accurate about that. We were a part of that. We weren't all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've talked to a couple of Hebrew Israelites too. And, it's just, you know where they're coming from, and that's where his base is.
Yeah. I don't know what you found, but in my conversation, it was 98% criticizing what we believe and not having a full understanding that we understand the Afrocentricity included in the Bible.
Yeah.
But I think because they don't want to recognize it's included, or they want to recognize only that Europeans didn't want us to know that for a long time.
Mm.
I think they're saying throw the whole thing out, and I think that's wrong. Just like I wouldn't throw all their beliefs out because I disagree with some of them.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think, with Kyrie getting his stuff off of YouTube and whatever books he's reading, and I'll just say the one thing, and I know people about Kanye. I get grief and loss can reveal who you are as a person, but it can also change you for the better if you allow it.
Right.
I'm kind of getting to the place where I'm tired of people blaming Kanye's behavior on the death of his mother.
Okay.
Because people are saying, well, his mom died. So, my mother's living, so I don't know by experience that. But I've known people who have loss of mother, father, etc., and haven't gone this crazy.
Yeah, but I think what you're seeing is that the death of his mom took the lid off his issues.
Right. There you go. It was there already.
Yeah, they didn't create him. Because I met him before his mother passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a strange person in my estimation. We were in the same studio, and that was before mom passed.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he was different.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was different.
Yeah, and I get the sympathy part, but I think there comes a point in time where we have to be responsible of our own wounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I get wounds can make us react certain way, and talking about any wound in general.
Yeah.
Can make you react a certain way, but that doesn't justify bad behavior because you're, what I'm saying? That's,
you can't ride that horse the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You can't say 10 years from now that, it would be like me saying my mom died 14 years ago, but I'm still snapping at everybody because of that. Her death was not my fault, but how I behave now is my responsibility, not hers.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think people are just continuing to make excuses for. I'd much rather you just be honest. I like his stuff. I like him, rather than make excuses for his behavior. Just,
I think, like when I go to the barbershop, especially back in the day when the shop was crowded, there was two divisions in the barbershop. One was everything this person does is okay. The other half of the barbershop was need to take responsibility for what you're doing and what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So some of us make celebrities unaccountable and give them a pad for things we wouldn't give our own family.
Yeah.
And then others are saying, well, no, I like this person, but what they did was wrong.
Yeah.
Which to me is a more balanced approach. It's a more biblical approach.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
Yeah.
But LeBron did bring up something interesting. I don't know if you heard it. Did you see the whole thing about Jerry Jones in that whole photo?
Yeah. Being in a picture like when he was 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. How old is he now? 90?
I think he's in his 80s. Okay. But he's close. But from what I understand, the coach told them not to go down there because of what he knew. He basically knew there was going to be a protest or something for the black kids coming in.
Sure.
He's still anyway.
Okay.
And I get people can grow and people can change, whatever.
Yeah.
But LeBron brought up an interesting point. He said, how come when a black person gets in trouble, y'all ask all the black athletes questions about them? He's like, when Kyrie got in trouble, that's most of the questions I got. He's like, y'all know I'm a Cowboys fan. None of y'all asked me about Jerry Jones at all.
Wow.
So he brought up this whole premise of how the media kind of makes blacks responsible for other black people. But when something happens over here,
they don't make them no.
Yeah,
well, it's actually a misused biblical concept of when one is elevated, the whole body is elevated. But for years, I think, and coming from the 60s and all, the country and African Americans tended to lump all black people into a category, especially if it was negative.
Yeah.
Now, if it's positive, the language changes. That individual rose above it. That individual pulled themselves up. That individual is different. But the reality is that we tend to lump us in a category and give other people of other ethnicities a pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the young man that shot up the club in where was it, Nevada?
Colorado Springs.
Yeah, Colorado Springs. Was he what ethnicity was he?
He was white.
You didn't hear anything about, all white people are murderous, and you didn't hear anything like that.
Yep.
But there's an assimilation assumption that happens with people of color. That what's that our former president called people all criminals. Lumped Hispanics into one category, all criminals, Mexicans, all criminals, all rapists. That's the type of thing that happens that does not happen with other ethnicities.
Not at all. Yeah, it's it's individualized there. Lone wolf. There it is. A lone wolf.
Yeah.
Versus y'all, it's like the whole "what about Chicago" thing.
Yep.
They always bring up Chicago to
Chicago is not representative of every major metropolis going across the country.
Absolutely.
Now, but we cannot. I'm not going to be in denial. I've been in Chicago when shooting started and I was preaching. I've been in Philadelphia when shooting started and I was preaching. And I've been to other urban centers in this area where nothing happened while I was there.
Yeah.
So, to lump and I think Chicago and Philly are shining examples of a major issue. But I'm not even sure we put motorcycle gangs in the same category as we do black gangs and Hispanic gangs.
Yeah, that's true. Because what's the biker people? I think you had an issue with them before back in the old church, Hell's Angels.
Yeah, well, their problem with me was that some of their guys was watching the broadcast on TBN, I believe, or BET, and TBN it was, and they were getting saved. And one of the guys took issue with that and called the phone line and said they were going to do something to me because these guys are getting saved. So I realized that, at that point, and that was like what, 20 some years ago?
Well, that was a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't take that threat and say all biker clubs are bad. I didn't throw everybody into the same bucket. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't have been fair.
Yeah. Right. But that's a controlling narrative. Like when it's us, it's a problem of the culture.
Right.
If it's them, it's the government holding you back.
Or it's an individual problem. It's unique.
Yeah. I mean, that thing. Did you hear the father of the young man that did the shooting in Colorado? Did you hear what he said?
No. What did he say?
So his father was a former porn star, right? So
his father was?
Yeah, his father was a former porn star. And he said, this is what he said. He said, when I heard about my son being down there, he said, I'm glad I found out that he wasn't gay.
That's all he said?
All he said. Mind you, he just murdered a bunch of people, but he was glad that he wasn't gay. He said, we don't do gay around here. So he was okay with his son being a murderer as long as he wasn't gay. I'm like, what?
You know what I think that was? It was distorted, but it was his parents' desire to find something positive, quote unquote positive, in the tragedy.
Yeah.
And it was a personal positive for him. That's amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, we were all, I watched, I was like, you can't be serious. Like
he was.
Yes, yeah. Your son going to jail probably for life. And you're that serious that you're happy your son wasn't gay, but you're okay with him murdering people. That something's wrong.
I'm not even sure when he opened his mouth he was thinking that far. No. I think he was just trying to find a way in his mind for him to think his boy wasn't all that bad. Well, at least he's not gay.
Yeah.
Which for that moment he was establishing what's that thing I used to say? He was trying to establish some equality in the thing. But of course that failed.
Yeah, absolutely. And the crazy thing with the boy, his mom called the police previously to this because he threatened her with a pipe bomb, I think. So the police came and checked him out, didn't find anything and just let it go. We constantly see this thing where somebody will make threats, do all this stuff, but it's not until they actually hurt people. Then all of a sudden, I get there are certain rules. You can only go but so far based on a threat.
Right.
But this stuff to me should be taken seriously because obviously we're seeing these patterns that this ain't the first time. They just actually executed this time versus the threats before.
Yeah.
And when he went in there, the people, they beat him down.
Did they?
Boy, yeah, no.
I heard it in the club. I heard they
they beat him down. But it's unfortunate that in our country, you don't have to agree with somebody's lifestyle, but let them live. It ain't bothering you.
That's what I don't understand. I don't get why are we so far into people's business?
Yeah.
I don't get it. And I mean, to the point that you become emotional. I remember counseling someone one time about their job. And they were concerned about their fellow employees' work ethics to the point that they were emotional and felt like they needed to go to the boss and say something about what obviously the boss was allowing them to do, that this individual didn't feel like they had the same privilege. Mm. And when I asked the question, why are you into their business so far? Mm-hmm. The person couldn't answer me.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Could they? We get emotionally involved in things. I think sometimes passionately, emotionally involved in things that aren't really our business at all.
Yeah. Let people live. It ain't your business. Move on with your life. But I don't know. It's an unfortunate situation, and that happened. And can I say something? I would love to hear your thoughts on this. In a tragedy like this, I saw a couple Christians say, even though I don't agree with their lifestyle, I wish that they didn't die. Basically, just paraphrasing. Okay. To me, a tragedy like this, you don't have to put out there what your stance is on their lifestyle. 6 people died. 15 people got shot. Just say I'm praying for those people, their family. You know what? It almost, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to show some compassion. That's all I'm saying.
I think that people have to add their own spice to a comment, whether it is relevant or not. Mm-hmm. And when I'm counseling a lot of people, I hear them respond, is it better to say good morning? Mm-hmm. Or is it better to say, even though you haven't talked to me in a while, I'm saying good morning? We feel like we have to have that thing in there. And it's unfortunate because it doesn't. The twisted thing about it is if I say, even though you haven't called me or even though you haven't said anything to me, I'm saying good morning. Mm. They actually expect a positive response from that.
Yeah, right.
So when the person said that, I don't agree with their lifestyle, but I'm sorry they died. They were looking for a positive response to what they said about the lifestyle. They didn't just simply say, I'm sorry the people were killed.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder about us sometimes. The love of Christ to me.
Absolutely.
In a situation like this, the focus should be on what happened, not our personal viewpoints. It just
absolutely. Because the personal viewpoint is not going to do anything. Perhaps we don't. Well, social media, which we're involved in, has given people the courage to say a lot of things that they would never say to your face.
Yeah. Yep.
Commenting on things that in ways that they would never do if they were sitting talking to you.
Yep. Keyboard thugs. Did you see this too about LA might be reinstating their mask mandates?
Yeah, because it's going crazy out there.
The RSV is going up, and COVID is just.
It should have. Someone said to me the other day, if we had just buckled down a little while longer and not going crazy talking about you taking away my rights because I got to wear a mask, we'd probably be most of the way out of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're getting ready for another round.
Yep.
And no, it doesn't have to be. It wouldn't have had to be that we're going to have to guard ourselves against this for the rest of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's amazing.
Yeah. Now I'm no doctor, but you know more about medical stuff. Maybe if a doctor's here, I wonder if with having our masks on for all this time and not being exposed to people, did it do something to our immune system? Because people are catching colds and flu like quicker. Do we have to rebuild our immune system now that we've been whatever that time comes where more people without masks?
I wonder. I'm not sure that being around your family. I'm sure that being around your family does expose you to various things.
Mm.
And most people are not masking up in their own homes around their families, and most people are coming from some other place.
Mm.
So I think what was proven is that I haven't caught a cold or any of what I would normally, the September stuff that I always get.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't gotten because of that. And I'm not sure that because you go into a sterile environment that the immunity that you have built suddenly decreases.
Mm.
You may be vulnerable to some new things, but it doesn't mean you're going to catch the chicken pox all over again.
Yeah.
That immunity is established, I believe.
Okay. So I didn't know how long your internal immunity, is it strong? I used to only get maybe sick maybe once a year, once every other year.
Yeah.
Pretty long.
Mm-hmm.
But since COVID, I think I probably blew my nose maybe like 20 times in almost 3 years.
Yeah.
Very rarely.
Yeah. I didn't have any of the stuff. The tonsillitis, the bronchitis. I didn't, it didn't happen.
Yeah. Okay. I was wondering. But yeah, y'all stay safe out there. The first the kids were getting a lot of RSV. Now the adults are starting to get it too.
Yeah, sure. It was next. It was obvious it was going to be next.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that it's probably impacting adults in a different way than it is the children. But I understand the children that it moves very swiftly, that it changes from, just a minor cough to something major in like 6 or 7 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. It comes fast. And they say it when their the top of their stomach is going, when they breathe in, it's going really in.
Yeah.
That's how it's most likely RSV.
Okay.
It really affects their breathing. But
wow.
What a time to be in. Because one of our nurses that's a member here, she said, I think October, that the pediatric wings were filling up with kids.
Sure they are.
Overflowing with them with this RSV.
And I think in among my contemporaries, I think the problem has been impatience and really not knowing how to support the membership. Some people who, in being away from the church, some of my contemporaries, they went back, and I would say 80% of them have had to close down at least twice this year.
Mm-hmm.
Because they insisted on they felt some pressure to put people back. But I think that if you come back, fail, come back again and fail, I think you discourage people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, we have to protect the flock that God has given us.
Yeah.
And like with us, there was a couple of people who really didn't come to church, who protested about us not being open, but they didn't come anyway. I have family members ask me, when y'all opening? How come y'all ain't opening it? Well, you don't come.
Right, you ain't a member. Why do you care?
Why do you care about it? But it has been, it's like some people who were not regular attenders of church, once the possibility of taking away that availability, suddenly they became intense. But here's the problem. Some of them have made decisions and they're not going where they said they were going to go.
Yep. Yep.
So, and I think people will ask you, all those watching us, people will often ask you to make decisions that they're not responsible for.
Yep. Yeah, because something happened. They ain't gonna be calling them.
Oh, no, not at all.
No.
And I think a lot of people are taking the cue from us as I see them observing us, and they're back together, but they're controlling the crowd and growing it slowly to make sure all the safeguards are working.
Yeah. Yep. So if you sick, stay home. But it is what. But I think they're they're really leaving people up to their own. And I get over time. Thank God COVID isn't as bad as it was when it first started. But it's still, to me, it's still at the place where we still don't need to be out here all willy-nilly doing whatever.
Yeah. Here's an adult that says she's going through RSV now and have never been so sick. Brought asthma back. My breathing has been out of control. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we need to, I read something, of course, where most of the COVID deaths were senior citizens. And it still amazed me how people were willing to sacrifice senior citizens just so they can go out and go do something.
Amazing to me.
Christians too. These are people made in the image of God. Like that's my grandma, just
anything for convenience.
Yeah.
Anything to as long as it doesn't impede your safety, doesn't matter. I need it not impede what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's not God any way you look at it.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. But
yeah, it's and I think the other thing I think that's happening that I'm running into occasionally is I get a letter every now and then or a call of someone who's not vaccinated asking me why they can't come to church. Why would you want to come among a group of people and take the chance on infecting them? But then I've had people tell me that they are really taking all their supplements, and they got their vitamin C, they're taking extra vitamin C and blah 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 blah, as an excuse for, you should let me come and take a chance with your people. I'm not willing to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to do that.
Yeah. And then asking one thing that taught us the past couple of years, asking people, trusting people to do the right thing.
No.
Is almost gone. Come on.
There's not enough concern for your brother and sister.
Yeah. Yeah.
This thing is all turned around to where we're just about us.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Senior citizens are not disposable.
Right. Not at all.
No, not at all.
Yep. And that's my thought.
And I think now that the holidays are coming, if the pattern is consistent for the last 2.5, almost 3 years, if the pattern is consistent and pattern recognition is a reality, the outbreaks happen after holidays.
Mm-hmm.
When families are getting together and some are not exercising caution. Some of the people are coming in knowing they're not feeling well, but I just wanted to see everybody. And I know a family recently, Thanksgiving, half of them got sick.
Mm-hmm.
And there was about 25 people in the house.
Yep.
I guess I'm wondering, why would you want to take a chance with your loved ones? That's to me, that's the major question. Are you going to take a chance with your loved ones?
Yeah. And again, if you know something's going on, stay home. It just is to be on the safe side. And one of the dilemmas is with the new strains, them rapid tests aren't picking up these new strains. Taking a rapid test is almost obsolete now for some to a certain degree.
Yeah, because this new thing is more in your chest than it is in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And one of our people that posted today said a lot of seniors are complaining about masking up, and I know I've had to speak to a senior in my family and remind them that the mask is a small price to pay for not ending up in ICU fighting for your life.
Mm-hmm.
And what amazes me is that some seniors that I know have reasoned their way into why they shouldn't wear it, forgetting that if they get hit by this thing, it could kill them.
Yeah.
But I also think they're listening to people, and the inconvenience of the mask is a problem for some of them. But I think being in ICU with tubes running in and out of you is a bigger problem.
Yeah. And I get, the premise is going to come a time we're going to have to learn to live with it. It's going to go down, but there's still use wisdom as we're living with, all viruses eventually come to an end.
Yeah.
As it relates to, its mass destruction. But I mean, we can't use wisdom in the process. Like, come on.
I don't think that's too hard.
No.
There's so many things that we have to do. You might get tired of wearing a seatbelt, but you don't stop wearing it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I know I had a family member who had to run to the store real quick to grab something real quick.
Yeah.
And somebody was in there talking about all loud, my grandchild is sick, and person didn't have a mask on.
Wow.
I'm like, now we're probably getting sick too, and just going there getting sick medicine. I'm like, somebody in your house is sick. If you gotta go out and get medicine, last minute, put your mask, put 2 of them on something,
Yeah. No.
They don't.
No, it's as a precaution, people are not thinking that way.
Mm-hmm.
They're thinking of it as a reaction to something that has already happened.
Yeah.
But I don't feel too bad. Or it's just a little bit of this. Well, you don't know, so you need to take some precautions so you don't impact somebody else's life.
Yeah.
But we're not thinking that far.
No.
Yeah, I heard about that, Reva Wiggins, about the young lady that went to Mexico with her friends and they killed her after she got down there.
That was crazy, man.
She paid for the trip, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got down there and killed the girl.
Yeah, I thought I heard something about some video or somebody of the girl hitting her. I think that they captured. I know Mexico put out, a warrant for the person.
But this group, they came back home.
They left her there. Yeah,
left her there.
And then, I know Mexico's trying to look into it to get, that's insane though.
Well, they stole some money from the girl too.
Okay.
I don't go anywhere without my mask. And I only take it off when I'm like in my office like this, or it's me and the kids, or we're at home. It's the only time I do it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I keep it everywhere, and I wear it everywhere, and I don't mind being the only person in the building having it on.
Yeah. Again, I don't bother you for what you want to do with your life. Don't bother me for what I'm doing with mine.
I had a couple people look at me and look like they were tempted to say something, but I just kind of stared over the mask. Let them know it was not a good opportunity. Try to have a conversation. Yeah, I heard also about the girl in Mexico. Somebody they taped it.
Yeah, they had a video of her getting hit, I believe. I just heard about that the other day. Yeah, it's supposed to be a fight. I guess a fight broke out. And
so the fight broke out, so they had to beat her to death.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you had to beat her to death, like on vacation, like, and somebody taping it too. Like, come on. Okay, so they did arrest her. Okay.
I'm interested to see how this turns out legally.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I understand she sponsored the trip. They all decided to go, and then they got down there and they killed her.
That's crazy.
When I hear things like that, do you mean to tell me that there wasn't one person in the room that was practicing common sense? One person said, "Wait a minute, y'all, this is wrong."
Yeah, sound like it was a setup then. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. People have no regard for life at all. That's a sad part.
It's unfortunate. It's we talk about our nation doing humane things for others, but at times it feels like we're disintegrating as it relates to relating to one another.
Yeah.
This feels like that's breaking down or has broken down. And I think part of the problem is politically, this breakdown seemed to be supported by some of our political leaders. So there's a disunifying contingent of our political leaders in Washington. They don't see the disunification as a problem, but actually something to exaggerate. But underneath all that is, if I can get people divided enough, perhaps I can still stay in power.
Oh yeah, that's all about power and money. And fear works on a lot of people. I'll make you scared. I get your support.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I don't like about politics. Is the power, the money, the influence is more important than the people.
Yeah, and the psychology of it is so well studied. I remember when they had a real good governor in Texas. It was a lady. She had white hair, did excellent for the state. And the campaign to defeat her was convincing people who lived in neighborhoods where there was no crime, no crime, everybody's living comfortably, convincing them that the people from the bad neighborhoods were coming to their neighborhoods. And no matter how many times the president governor said, that's not happening, here's the stats on it, blah, blah, people voted out of a fear that was manufactured for them. So that when I talk about the psychology of politics, that Ann Richardson, that's right. And she was a great governor, but she got defeated basically based on a lie, convincing people that the people from the troubled neighborhoods were going to come in their neighborhoods. And she lost the election because of that.
Yeah. But we saw that in 2016. That's all Trump ran on was fear.
Yep.
These people taking your jobs that you don't even want to work in the first place.
Right.
You ain't out in the field doing all this stuff. But
let the jobs that these people take are not the jobs that a lot of people want.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But you're seeing that reverse of the very people that said that minorities play the victim have played the victim for the past couple of years. But it's okay when they play the
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the the whole race card issue. The race card is brought up when you're referring to crime.
Mm.
And the race card is brought up by those discriminated against when they feel like they're being discriminated. So each side has a race card.
Yep.
One for equal rights and one to justify whatever fear there is about crime against a certain people.
Yeah. And this is why I push back on the black on black crime narrative. I'm not sitting here saying that there isn't certain, our folk got some issues. It's certain segment has issues. I'm not saying that, but when you study it, all black on black crime is crimes of proximity. People that whites that experience the most crime are against other whites, blacks,
Right.
other blacks, Hispanics. You commit crimes against people you live near,
which is
it's
it's self-destructive, but it's true.
Yeah, but they don't call it white on white crime when majority of people that are white have crime committed against are the white people. It just, but it's that narrative that they keep pushing and people keep believing.
Yeah, I think I agree with Kelvin. I think that we're in a cultural time where there used to be a time when truth was really important.
Mm-hmm.
But now the reason you're saying a thing seems to be becoming more important than the truth.
Yes.
And the Bible, not the Bible, but life tells me, my grandmother used to say that a lie travels faster than the truth does.
Yep.
And she'd been proven to be right. She lived 100 years, so she was right for 80 years of her life. A lie does travel a lot faster than the truth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially when the lie is entertaining.
Yep.
What's that bias we talk about all the time?
Confirmation
bias. Yes. Yeah. I feel that way already. And even if it don't make no sense, if somebody confirms it, it has to be right because I feel so strong about it. And you got to be strong enough to question your biases and know this is how I feel, but it's not necessarily true.
And a lot of people are not that strong.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. The truth has a club foot. That's true. Yeah. Because people, you think about it, they'll rather believe the lie than the truth.
Well, it's more stimulating.
Yeah.
And in actuality, most people don't put any thought process on a lie when they hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Because unfortunately, the lie appeals to our flesh rather than to the Spirit of God in us.
Yeah.
And we are so open to things that stimulate our flesh rather than things that challenge.
Yep. And I'm sure, and I know you experience it with, for those who know, like we do couples counseling.
Yeah.
Say the one person calls us beforehand, tells us what happened. Then when we meet with the couple, the other person brings the other side of the story. We're like, you ain't tell us.
Right.
You framed it this way. But people love to justify their viewpoint, their own bias.
Oh yeah.
And act like they're surprised when the other side comes out.
Yeah. Yeah.
They get offended when you don't believe them.
And they're usually surprised because in their thinking of how to explain it, they did not consider how it could be rebutted.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many times couple come in, married or not, and one of them will say, so-and-so hit me.
Mm-hmm.
And they're always shocked when I asked the question, well, tell me what happened before that.
Mm.
And I can tell you invariably the person that struck the first blow is only reporting the response.
Mm.
I'm saying, so you didn't say you walked up to her or him and hit him with a frying pan. You didn't say that.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so they leave that part out because they're looking just to justify themselves in that moment.
Yeah. Yep. So interesting. Well, that's all. We only got 10 minutes left. Any questions or?
They just commenting away.
Good. Yeah. Did you see the thing about Herschel Walker living in Texas, having residency in Texas?
No.
He's now. I'm gonna look into it more. He's supposed to be a resident of Texas, running in Georgia.
They didn't establish his residency in Georgia.
That's what I'm trying. Because I guess he pays taxes in Texas, I believe.
Kevin English has lost his mind. He says the Lakers are going to the championship. You think so?
He's blinded by his fandom of LeBron James. That's the problem. He thinks LeBron's the greatest ever. He just,
Does he?
Yeah, he got issues.
Good morning, Kevin.
Yeah.
So the rental house, Kevin Farrington, the rental house is in Georgia or the rental house is in Texas?
So, because Herschel did he said during one of his speeches, he said his home in Texas, that he said, I live in Texas.
During one of his speeches?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Because he was talking about the border and said, I live in Texas.
While he's campaigning in Georgia?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He said, I was sitting in my home in Texas. I was seeing what was going on in this country. Yeah. So
So he's got a primary residence in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
That, according to Thomas Bird, he's trying to collect his tax refund for the property taxes paid on his primary home in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that disqualify him because he's not a resident?
It just came out this week, so I'm waiting to see what they're actually going to do. Yeah, because he's still getting tax breaks for being in Texas.
So let me ask you a question. So the people that are promoting his candidacy from the party side, are you telling me that they were so anxious to get somebody in the race that they did not do a thorough check on his background?
Or they knew and just, they feel like do whatever.
It wouldn't come out? Thought it wouldn't come out?
Yeah. And whatever it is, just keep on moving forward. The fact that they needed a runoff election is what gets me.
I'm bothered by that. I'm bothered by that.
Like, come on. Like, are you serious?
I know Pastor Warnock personally.
Mm-hmm.
I've had conversations with Pastor Warnock. We occasionally attend the same meeting in Arizona, every year. And he is so far more qualified. I don't even know why I put it that way, because that would be comparing the two. It's like it's like apples and oranges, man. It's like day and night. I don't understand why people are having such a problem choosing between those two men.
Right. But that base down there where he is against abortion and he's gonna, it's almost like if you are in that base, if you're anti-left, you're the right person. It don't matter what you believe. It doesn't,
Wow.
that this us versus them mentality is dangerous for this country. Yeah, Dr. Oz tried to do the same thing.
Yep. Amazing.
How you got a pastor been serving God's people for years, and you say, I don't know Herschel Walker's personal life, but you claim that Herschel is the more godly person compared to,
they're just talking.
Yeah.
They're just talking.
And they probably use Herschel, you're right, because he's a big star. He played for University of Georgia.
Oh yeah,
he's got that star down there.
But that doesn't make him a resident.
Exactly, and don't make him a good politician either.
But obviously, his party was looking more to celebrity in Georgia than his qualification.
Yep.
Because they'll tell him what to do if he gets elected.
Oh yeah. And that's why, Lindsey Graham said that Herschel Walker is a great example to young Black men, and they need to look up to him. And something last week we talked about Ted Cruz, right?
Right.
His real name being Raphael. I looked up the reason why he changed his name. He said a lot of people had a hard time where he was pronouncing Raphael right. So it almost came out like he was embarrassed of his heritage and his name. So he wanted something more normal, which makes sense.
Yeah.
You very rarely hear him ever use his Hispanic side.
He's not trying to appear that way.
Yeah. Yep. Ow. Okay. We got a few minutes left, y'all. Can we do a quick announcement real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
So don't forget, tomorrow we're virtually online at 8 o'clock. 11 a.m. we're indoors for those who are registered. And we have 6 p.m. communion tomorrow virtually. So you want to join us tomorrow all day long, 8 a.m. virtually, 11 o'clock in person for those who are registered. Of course, 11 o'clock is always streamed online, and then virtually at 6 o'clock for our communion service. You can register for Bible study to attend. Remember, Bible study registration is always a week in advance. So you register this Sunday for the 14th, not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. So you can register for Bible study on the 14th, starting this coming Sunday. Our toy drive is coming up very soon. We have a couple of organizations we're going to be helping out. They expressed a great need, and we need your help if you can. You can buy a new unwrapped toy, bring it to the church, or you can go to our website or any of our platforms, and you can sow into that drive. Make sure you click Catch the Fire, and we will go out and purchase the toys, give them out. We got a couple schools we're giving toys to, pediatric facility, Rock Center, in Camden. So if you can help us out, we need them by the 14th at the latest, so we can be a great help to the community. Of course, registration for Sunday service starts tomorrow at 6. You can email your prayer request to social@gotobethany.com. Subscribe to all of our platforms, David G. Evans 1, BBC Evangelical, on YouTube as well as on Facebook. OnPointe is actually on podcast format also. You can go to our whatever podcast platform you're on, click DGems or OnPointe, and you can get that. Yes, Calvin, we are accepting coats too. We can coats, gloves, hats, all that for the kids. Oh, thank you, Mai, for that. And also this month, we are fasting on Wednesdays from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. So you're basically just fasting for breakfast on Wednesdays this month at 7 a.m. We're going to have a live prayer time on all of our platforms virtually. I know you're getting ready for work, most of you, so it won't be long. You can put your prayer requests in. We're going to be praying for you, starting at 7 a.m. every Wednesday, breaking it at 12 noon with our prayer call. So fasting from 6 a.m. to 12 noon, praying at 7, praying at noon. And that's it. Anything else you got, Bishop, you want to?
I'm good. Just look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow online at 8 o'clock and also live at 11 here in the building. So we're looking forward to another great time in the Lord. And just thank you all for making this a very lively hour. It went by very fast. Please tell somebody about OnPointe and share this with your friends, that they might also get a taste of what we try to do during this hour, this great hour that we spend with you from week to week. I want you to remember now, faith acts like a thing is so, even when it's not so, that it might be so. God bless you. See you next time on Point.
See y'all.